Hello, welcome to episode 7 of Diva Discourse. This episode, we're gonna do Upgrade You, and we are so excited. Sean, I'm so happy we found you. When we got the ransom note from your kidnappers, we were so worried we'd never see you again.
Okay, what Enzo is facetiously getting at is that I was on a series of trips to places like India and Thailand and Singapore and Canada and the ever exotic Virginia, which unfortunately, yes, has caused a bit of a delay. Sorry for the delay, and sorry to you, Enzo. I know you're excited to record this episode.
I've been waiting for you at home like Penelope at her loom. Cue the music.
Yeah, big. Talk your shit.
Partner, let me upgrade you.
How you gonna upgrade me? It's higher than number one. You know I used to beat that block. Now I bees the block.
Partner, let me upgrade.
I hear you be the block, but I'm the life to keep the streets on. Notice you the type that like to keep them on the leash, though. I'm known to walk alone, but I'm alone for a reason. Sending me a drink ain't appeasing, believe me. Come harder, this won't be easy. Don't doubt yourself, trust me, you need me. This ain't a shoulder with a chip or a easy.
Upgrade You is off Beyoncé's second studio album, B-Day, released in 2006. And this is the first featured song we're doing. It has the FT period, and it features Beyoncé's one-time lover, one-time boyfriend, and now long-term husband, twice proposed, Jay-Z. It was composed by a bunch of people, among them Swiss Beats, Beyoncé, Jay-Z, Solange, and, funnily enough, Angela Beyoncé, who I'm guessing maybe had like one line and got a contributor credit, no offense.
Very interesting, yeah.
Right. Yeah, let's jump in.
So I think we need to situate Upgrade You within the timeline of Beyonce and Jay-Z's collaborations, because it really marked a turning point in the way they understood their relationship to the zeitgeist. This is the moment that their branding as a couple really coalesced. And I think the magnitude of what they could accomplish conjugally began to really dawn on them in a way that I imagine only amplified the erotics of their early relationship. Perhaps even became their main erotics. More on that later. So in 2002, we have their first collaboration. We have O3, Bonnie and Clyde. They kind of assume the roles of convicts fleeing the law.
Look for me, young B, cruising down the west side highway, doing what we like to do.
In 2003, you've got Crazy in Love, where their romance is, I think, properly inaugurated. It's given the kind of treatment one would afford a young, hot, high-octane entanglement. There's also That's How You Like It from Dangerously in Love, which pared things a bit back, kind of offered a glimpse into what their romance is like behind closed doors.
That's how I like it, baby.
That's how you like it, huh? That's how you like it, huh? That's how you like it.
And then on the same album, B-Day, you have Deja Vu, the lead single, which was a bit of an obvious attempt to recreate Crazy in Love with like the horns and the same chemistry between them. But Upgrade You was a very decisive installment in their joint discography, because I think here they're actually no longer singing about lust, desire, erotic obsession. They're doing something much more interesting, which is formalizing their union into a brand. And there's a line in the song where Jay-Z goes, "We're on the verge of a new merge." And at this point in time, they weren't married yet. They were just dating. They weren't even engaged. But he is couching the relationship in the language of a business merger. And that's what this song is. It's not a declaration of independence. It's a treaty forged between two emperors. And I think it's fitting that in this song, they each list the material stakes of their relationship, like they're taking inventory of joint assets or a very sizable dowry.
I call audibles, Jacob the jeweler, bubbles, Lorraine Swartz sort of do. It's big ballin', baby, when I'm courting you. I'm talking spy bags and fly pads and rooms at the Bloomberg and rumors.
Jay-Z name checks the jewelry designer Lorraine Swartz in this song, who ended up designing Beyonce's engagement ring. And also ended up designing the iconic Sasha Fierce glove that she wears in Single Ladies with the engagement ring. So if Crazy in Love soundtracked the start of an infatuation, Upgrade You was the start of a marriage. It's a prenup for arguably the most powerful couple in pop music history.
Yes. In fact, I think not arguably, I think definitively the most powerful couple. It's interesting. Jay-Z and Beyonce's collaborations often actually took place in the first few years of their career in a kind of improvised fashion. He wasn't even going to be on Crazy in Love, and she heard him rapping and he freestyled the verse. It was kind of, done on the whim and ended up being an iconic rap verse on an iconic song. Similarly with Upgrade You, T.I. was supposed to star on it as a rapper, and it ended up going to Jay-Z. And thank God it did. I completely agree, Enzo, that there is a metaphorical undercurrent here. It's a merging of two empires, it's a merging of two businesses, and they are a joint business, as they proved when they went on tour together and released albums together. But I think it's interesting because this was also a time when they were less guarded about their professional relationship because they were so guarded about their private one, and that would go to eventually reverse. So you see on, as you said, Dangerously in Love, he's on 2 songs. B-Day, on the deluxe version, he's on a grand total of 3 songs. And as their careers went on, they were actually much more selective about collaborating. And so in I Am and in 4 and in Lemonade, he doesn't appear on any of those albums, or Renaissance, for that matter, or Cowboy Carter. She becomes more cognizant of their professional dynamic as they become closer in a marital one.
Totally.
How about we start by talking about, since there's so much to say, the musical element of Upgrade You, its musicality.
Right. Upgrade You samples the 1968 song by Betty Wright called Girls Can't Do What the Guys Do, which is this very horn-centric song.
The guys are gonna wanna go out and play sometimes, but girls, you must not let it get you down.
And a little bit about the time that this came out in. So the album B-Day was supposed to come out much earlier than it did, but it was delayed for the release of Destiny's Fulfilled, Destiny's Child's last album. But it was also the album itself marked this elevation and intensification of Beyonce's musical persona. She recorded it in 3 weeks, and the songs poured out of her.
She was supposed to be on vacation after filming Dreamgirls, and she wasn't supposed to be doing anything, but she just found herself gravitating towards the studio.
It makes sense to me that the songs poured out of her because Dangerously in Love was a treatise on perfecting and complicating R&B. B-Day was her, in a way, returning to her Destiny's Child roots.
Fire.
Exactly, her fire. I mean, it's more fiery than ever before, but you hear these styles of Bugaboo and Sexy Daddy and Soldier, right? You hear those growing into Beyonce's new signature style.
Right.
It's not hot that you be calling me, stressing me, paging my people, you're just nonstop. And it's not hot that you be leaving me messages every 10 minutes and then you stop by.
It's very seldom that you're blessed to find your equal. Still play my part and let you take the lead role, believe me.
But you also really see her here drawing on the legacy of the capital D diva.
Totally. On this album, there's what I like to call like a quadrant of militancy, or the flagship 4. There were 4 songs. They're like 4 pillars of the album that are all within the genre of angry Beyonce pop.
Can I guess?
Please guess.
Ring the Alarm.
Yes.
Upgrade You. Deja Vu. Ooh la la.
Extended version.
Get Me Bodied.
Get Me Bodied. I think it is Get Me Bodied, Deja Vu, Ring the Alarm, and Upgrade You that are kind of this quadrant of militancy. I'm excluding Freakum Dress because I think Freakum Dress was actually, in a way, a Beyonce-infused rock song. But these other 4 songs are all kind of pioneering the sound that Beyonce elevated and came to be associated with. She took R&B, pop, and hip-hop and infused them into this shining diva-esque scarab,
It's such a ferocious record. You hear Josephine Baker, you hear Tina Turner. My little theory as to why it's so ferocious is that she came off after playing Dina in Dreamgirls, who was the opposite of that, who was like meek and kind of an ingenue and girlish, and like until the end of the movie had very little agency. And I feel like Beyonce kind of came off of that role, in which she was placed second to Jennifer Hudson, feeling like she really like wanted to get back to that Sasha Fierce aspect of her.
And you astutely pointed this out during our I Care episode, that just as she was informed by Cadillac Records for I Care, she was informed by Dreamgirls for B-Day.
Absolutely.
But the reason why I'm excited to do Upgrade You is because I think it marks two phenomena. One is it's Beyonce having a hell of a good time.
Yes.
And the second is it's Beyonce inching out of the closet as a rap superstar.
Yes, took the words right out of my mouth. You cannot say she isn't spitting on this song, because she is.
As early as Destiny's Child, she really mastered the art of combining the genres of rapping and singing. So she would kind of sing rap, and you see that on songs like No No No, Part 2.
Bugaboo.
Bootylicious, Jumpin', so good. There are very few female, or for that matter, male rappers who are also world-class singers. Obviously, Lauryn Hill pioneered that duality. She took it to a new level. We've seen Missy Elliott do it a bit. We've seen Chance the Rapper do it a bit. But Beyonce, I think more than anyone, in a truly distinctive fashion, holds that torch today.
Totally, absolutely. And she's always been informed by hip-hop.
What I also love about Upgrade You is I can't help but appreciate it as a jewel of Beyonce's weirdness. I often think of this quote by Noah Berlatsky. He wrote this piece in The Atlantic about 10 years ago about Beyonce's genius, and he's speaking about the Destiny's Child song Apple Pie Mode.
I said, hey boy, would you enjoy sitting next to me in your corduroys? I'm from Texas, my girl is from Illinois. Where you from? Can I come visit you sometimes?
He says, with its hiccuping nonsense syllables and voices twisting and sliding around each other, sounds like it almost could have been put together by a funkier Brian Wilson. And I think Upgrade You took Apple Pie Mode to another level. The vocals aren't like a soft, seductive, cooing R&B track that contrasts with the rap. The vocals match the rap. The vocals are the rap and vice versa.
Her rapping and her singing on this song, they cling to each other like adhesive, you know? And sometimes you can't tell where the singing starts and the rapping begins because they're so organically entangled in each other.
It's very seldom that you're blessed to find your equals. To play my part and let you take the lead role, believe me, I'll follow.
So I mentioned earlier how this song kind of is like a merger of their two personas, their two brands. And I'm not one of those who think that Beyonce and Jay-Z are like completely in a PR marriage and that it's all about the power and the consolidation of clout. But I do think they have kept to each other for reasons that don't necessarily have to do with love. And they haven't been discreet about the terms of their pact at all. Like, it's all in their music, and this is kind of the genesis of that. In relation to that, Beyonce and Jay-Z have kind of through the years cultivated this brand of Black excellence, right? They've always kind of used material wealth as a way to gesture toward their positions in the culture as like Black icons. And it's a natural development from hip-hop culture where chains and bling are kind of worn to project the soft power that aims to correct dominant images of destitution. What's interesting about J and B is how they locate the center of this power in the household. Like, their partnership multiplies their respective fortunes.
I also think a little twist on this song, and we'll have to get into this with the music video, is that yes, this was a period in which Jay-Z was an icon, not Beyonce.
Yeah, very true.
He had a 16 or 17 year legacy behind him, and Beyonce was, for whatever reasons, with whatever intentions, capitalizing upon that. But this song already shows that if anyone's upgrading anyone, it's Beyonce upgrading Jay-Z. She can rap better than him. She can sing better than him. She can swag better than him.
I think lyrically, she kind of plays into the fact that she is actually the secret key to like his legend. There's lines like, I can do for you what Martin did for the people.
Love that line.
So good,
and
so funny.
It's so funny,
it's
right?
So funny.
I can do for you what Martin did for the people. Ran by the man, but the women keep the tempo.
But she also says things like, still play my part and let you take the lead role. So it's kind of like this song, it's so interesting. It really steeps itself in the kinds of contradictions that make pop music so interesting and so compelling.
Yes. I agree. And also, let's not forget that Beyoncé has had these contradictions in her music for a very long time. She's moved between pining after a man, flaunting female independence, and negotiating the two in a relationship. And this is kind of a climax of that in a sense.
She's kind of taking on this reverse Pygmalion situation where she's positioning herself as his stylist, his advisor, his passport into like this world of taste. She calls herself the chief of his dynasty. So yeah, like you can kind of see like the glimmer in her eye in this song. I love how she calls him her project celebrity. On the one hand, it could mean that he's from the projects, but also on the other, it sounds like he's her little project. And then she goes on to say, I'll keep your name hot in these streets. And another foreshadowing moment, because post Lemonade, Beyonce has been the reason that Jay-Z has remained relevant.
Absolutely. She's the reason that he's remained relevant in music, but also in business.
And in culture.
He has cachet because of her.
Yes, totally. And I think like what fascinates us about their marriage is that it kind of exists in the public sphere as like this capitalist fantasy.
Yes.
And like it purports to resolve the tension between business and pleasure in a way that no other celebrity marriage really does.
Right. And I also think that their status, their power, the joy they elicit in audiences has insulated their marriage from the sort of political and philosophical criticism it will undoubtedly be subject to in retrospect. So as the years go by and as they are memorialized, I think there will be a school of musical critical literature that points to the irreconcilable facets, the hypocritical facets of this immersion in materialism, in the priority of materialism over, say, political clarity and activism. You know, when we think back to Aretha Franklin, we think about the extent to which her role in the civil rights movement was as prominent as her music, and that's really saying something because her music it not only spawned radio hits in a really dominant way, but she became part of the political zeitgeist.
Yeah.
You don't see that with Beyonce and Jay-Z. You see them engaging politically either kind of with imperious name dropping in songs or a kind of fleeting gesture here and there, or it's under the table. But my point is that I think that it's partly because they come out of a tradition of hip-hop and R&B that was unironically materialistic. And I don't know if they ever fully dropped that, even though they took up various causes along the way.
I feel like the trap so many Americans fall into is outsourcing the roles of politicians to pop stars. And I feel like that's a very slippery slope.
Absolutely. And the other way around.
And the other way around, yes.
Yeah.
Which is somehow even more disgusting.
I agree.
But like, yeah, I don't need my pop stars to give me like profound politics. I need them to entertain me and to inspire me and to like dazzle me with their divinity.
Totally. And the only caveat I would say to that is we should then also be able to laugh at them and be able to laugh at their politics. Which is another thing that Americans tend not to do. We take
them too seriously.
We take them too seriously and we deify them to a degree that renders them politically impervious. And I think that's a little strange.
Right.
Like Beyonce and Jay-Z are hilariously materialistic. Let's laugh at that and move on.
Right. Also, we just said we. Sean's American. I'm not.
Ooh. Well, you might be one day.
Rumors, you on the verge of a new merge. Cause that rock on your fingers like a tumor. You can't fit your hand in your new purse. It's humorous to me, they watching and we just yachting Allen hopping off the Amalfi Coast.
The music video is directed by Melina Matsoukas, who also directed Greenlight, Kitty Cat, and Sugar Mama off the same album, B-Day, and then went on to do Diva and Sweet Dreams off I Am before graduating to one of the most controversial, interesting, and influential music videos in Beyonce's career, Formation. But of course, Upgrade You was fun, infused with levity. It was not a music video that was politically profound, but it was the first time, I believe, that Beyonce truly did drag.
Absolutely, and I love that you mentioned this earlier because when she impersonates Jay-Z in this video, it is one of the rare moments especially in her early career, where queerness, a queer sensibility really like enters into her oeuvre.
Yeah.
She quite literally puts on Jay-Z's clothes in this video and raps at him. She becomes slazy.
I love that. And she really looks like Jay-Z.
And captures his mouth movement. She clearly studied him.
What's up? I'm Jigga. Yo, I'm on for my first shot of the day. Holla.
She actually said to MTV after the video was released,
I love it because it's completely out of my character, or at least the character that people think I am. And it was very exciting because I was pretending to be Jay. And he was there, and I told him he had to leave because I couldn't do it with him in the room. It was way too embarrassing. But I think I did a pretty good job. I had the lip curl, and it was very exciting being a guy for those couple hours.
Obviously, the reason that the iconic part of the song is Beyonce sitting on a throne-like chair being Jay-Z and lip-syncing his rap before Jay-Z eventually appears in her place is that she does that while she's also next to her as Jay-Z wearing a really sexy white shirt, ruby heels, dancing, looks so hot. And it goes to show you the reason that she ultimately wins the upgrade contest is that she can do both.
She can do both.
He can't.
It's almost like he's saying, I can do what you do, but you can't do what I do.
Which is, as she proves definitively later on in her career, true.
True. And it's also a playful rebuttal to the song that Upgrade You samples. Girls can't do what the guys do. And it's not a very progressive song. The message is basically like, girls, you can't dress too sexual, you can't be too forward because you're gonna suffer consequences that guys won't. And we just have to like be demure, be proper. Beyonce kind of rebuts that, flips it, and she puts on like the suit, the clothes, the armor of a man and bests him at it.
Totally. I also really like the choreography for this video. So my favorite bit of the choreography is actually the last verse. And this last verse is something I want to just talk about in and of itself because she comes in at a point where you think the song is going to be finished.
Automobile watch, dimples in your necktie, Hermes briefcase, Cartier top clips, silk line blazers, diamond cream facials, VVS cufflinks, 6-star pimp suites.
The song is almost like a bonus verse. It's her upgrading the song. She has a last word, and what I love about the choreography is it's mirrored in it. So all the men move behind Beyonce and then expand out with her with that same kind of gyrating, rolling swag, and it kind of shows her winning the song. You know what I mean?
Totally. I will say though about the aesthetics of this video, it kind of looks like it's filmed in Scrooge McDuck's money vault. Like it's a bit gaudy.
It's totally gaudy.
Dare I say Trumpy?
Oh my God, Trumpy is great, but it was an era in which Trump was rapped about and referenced with some vague envy.
Yeah.
Now we laugh at that.
Right.
But also, like, I feel like you see a bit of the same stage setup as Get Me Bodied. It was a little kitschy.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
All right. Let's hear some audience applause because it's live performance time. So what's interesting about this era of performing live songs for Beyonce is that B-Day had so many hits, and it had so many both danceable hits and more kind of serious performances in the form of Irreplaceable, that she didn't really perform Upgrade You during any major concert or TV appearances. She did, however, and has performed it on various world tours. The first was the world tour in support of B-Day, the one and only.
The Beyonce Experience, which everyone knows is my favorite.
Yes, our drag Manila version of I Am. So, if we go through these briefly, I think with the Beyonce Experience, she performs a song kind of seriously, which she didn't do with later tours. I think she realized that having more fun with this was more suitable to the song.
Yeah. What I love about that version is that after he does his verse, he kind of continues in a different vocal register. And the horns in the background are just sublime.
Mama, let me upgrade ya.
But, you know, both the song and the tour are upgraded during the I Am World Tour. And so she sings Upgrade You Here while she's on the B stage in the middle of the audience. And what she does here, which is really great because she employs this technique for the rest of her renditions of Upgrade You, is she has fun with this. She lip syncs Jay-Z's verse after taking a baseball cap off of one of the male audience members' heads, putting it on her head, and you see the man kind of laughing at how well she's doing Jay-Z.
I hear you be the block, but I'm the life to keep the streets. Notice you the type that like to keep them on the leash. I'm known to walk alone, but I'm alone.
That being said, my favorite rendition of Upgrade You Live, oh my god, On the Run 1.
Absolutely.
It is iconic. Jay-Z and Beyonce come out on stage together, and she is wearing this incredible outfit, and what makes it incredible is the fact that she has a netted fishnet mask over her face. And so they start by singing Bonnie and Clyde, and when they're done, Beyonce starts rapping Upgrade You a cappella.
Okay, but before that, Jay-Z's like,
Yeah, B. Talk that shit.
and she just goes, okay.
Okay. Automobile watch, dimples in your necktie, Hermes briefcase, Cartier tack.
And then, after she finishes rapping, which is interesting because as joint tourers, you'd expect Jay-Z to do the rapping, Beyonce the singing. She starts rapping first, and then the music comes in, and she takes off her fishnet mask.
And her hair tumbles out.
And this is Beyonce at one of the primes of her beauty. But what's more salient to me than that is that we now retrospectively know that she's so pissed at Jay-Z during this performance.
Yes, and that's also what was probably behind the okay.
Right, but you can see when she sings to him, you need a real woman in your life, she looks positively pissed.
Yes.
And she also starts dancing during the song. It's the first time she dances and the audience goes wild. I think what also struck me when I watched this performance is that it really, for me, in a casual way, vivifies Beyonce's tripartite power. She sings, she dances, and she doesn't play the piano or the guitar. She raps.
Yes.
You need a real woman in your life. Real time. Taking care, home and still fly. Real time. And I'ma help you build up your account.
So On the Run 1 is followed by a more complicated joint tour between Beyonce and Jay-Z, which was really imaginatively titled On the Run 2. And here Upgrade You comes much later into the set. It follows Family Feud. And at this point, Beyonce has given birth to twins. She's older.
This is post Beachella.
It is post Beachella, but I think that Beachella took so much out of her that on OTR 2, she moves a little bit less. She takes it a little bit more easy.
Yeah.
And, you know, they're also now undisputedly king and queen. But what I like about OTR 2 is she's having a lot of fun. Her and Jay-Z are in a better place. They mock each other. She's kind of dancing in a way that's just like really freeform.
Yeah.
You know? All right, everybody, welcome back to the dusty at this point, because it's been so long since we opened the doors, Mama Tina's hair salon. Okay, so the clients for whom Beyonce wrote this song are unfortunately the subject of something that is a little bit bitchy. In 2005, I saw Beyonce perform in Dubai on her Destiny's Fulfilled tour. She was only 24. And it was really awkward to watch because she was merciless to the other two members of the band. She outshadowed them to a degree that was insane, and she only mastered the art of restraint on stage much later. But she loves her remaining bandmates on Destiny's Child. So unfortunately, Upgrade You is written about the original but removed Destiny's Child members Lativia Robertson and LaToya Luckett.
So I was thinking for a long time about who my client should be. And I went through several options. Eva Peron, the Queen of Sheba, the Empress Theodora of Byzantium. And then it hit me one night in the shower. And I realized who it should be. And that is Beyonce's first boyfriend, Lyndall. If you remember, Beyonce dated this one dude, Lyndall, before Jay-Z, and he was kind of like her only boyfriend before Jay-Z.
It was her high school sweetheart, right?
Yes, they were together since she was like 13, but they kind of went their separate ways because he was kind of a bum, and she was working really hard with Destiny's Child. And this is a quote from Lyndall himself about why they drifted apart. He said, "She was promoting Destiny's Child's second album and I was back home smoking weed. Once they started to hit big, it was obvious she was changing. She became aloof. I told her she was becoming a whole new kind of person and she looked at me and said, 'I am.' I told her, 'I wish you could have a normal life.' And she said, 'I don't want a normal life. I've been waiting for this since I was a kid.' She needed someone like Jay-Z to take her to the next level. There's no hard feelings." To me, Upgrade You is her kind of kissing that past life goodbye and allowing herself to become the diva she was meant to be. Well, this was delightful. It's so nice to be back here with you again, Sean. I'm so happy and invigorated. It is great to put an end to this hiatus.
Well, I can't believe how lucky I am to be doing this with you, and we have many more exciting episodes to come, and we promise it'll be in the near future.
Autumn applique watch, dimples in your necktie, Hermes briefcase, Cartier top clips, silk line blazers, diamond cream facials, VBS cufflinks, 6-star pink suites. Partner, let me upgrade you, grade you. Partner, let me upgrade you, grade you. Let me upgrade you, grade you. Partner, let me upgrade you.